And shortly, and I mean shortly, probably by the end of this month, I'm telling you, by the end of this month, August, it's about to begin, and maybe even sooner. So we've said there's a very small window of time left where things are about to begin to accelerate and then explode. This is how it's going to go. It's going to go slightly up, 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 and then explode. And the explosion is going to be that biblical thing that we are waiting for. Again, this is faith-based. God said. Now, you can believe that God didn't say and not do anything. This is where it all comes down to, Joshua said, choose this day. Do you choose to have all of your finances sitting in paper and digits, or are you what's a wise steward? What's someone who has wisdom? What's wisdom? It's not smarts. Wisdom, it's inside of you. You just know deep down something's wrong with the system. Something just deeply is wrong. And if you truly believe that something deeply is wrong with the financial system, that they can just literally create money out of thin air forever, like that's what they've been doing. So deep down inside of you, you feel like, something's really wrong. Then what's silver and gold, in addition to being precious, they're an insurance policy. The financial system that we use today is not God's money, and it's become very corrupt. In your heart, you really feel that something's wrong. I really hope you guys have listened to us and you have, some silver or some gold, but I know many people have, considering the amount of thank yous that Andrew and I constantly get. So with all of that said, prophecy is about to be fulfilled. We're about to see a massive, massive historic price explosion. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is July 15th. It's the middle of July, summertime, and the markets on silver and gold, as we've seen, where those who watch precious metals, they're holding everything. They are not letting silver run vertical, as well as gold. And so we're going to talk about silver, gold, precious metals today, the markets. Andrew, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Bo. It's definitely some bargain hunting to be had here, but it's really, the war has been bad for gold and silver, but every time we think it's about to end, we see the gold and silver rebound in a big way. So I think it's crystal clear what's going to happen when this is all done.
We did a podcast maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, and the focus of that podcast, which I'm going to focus again on the same concept today, is the word faith. Okay. God has spoken through his prophets, okay? So those listening to me, majority of you listening are faith-based. Many of you listening understand that there is a God, and God is in control of everything. And then God has spoken through his servants, the prophets, okay? So all of these things have been said. So most people on my channel here, Andrew, as you know, most people are faith-based. They do understand that God's got a plan, okay? And so why I'm saying all this is because we have been talking about for years now. Andrew and I have been doing podcasts for probably 4 years, maybe 5. And what have we always said? Silver is God's money. Well, we know that scripturally. It's Haggai 2, verse 8. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, saith the Lord. Okay, that's Haggai. I'm going to reference that later, but that's Haggai 2, verse 8. Okay, so understand that we're waiting for God to move to fulfill what's written in Haggai, because Haggai scripturally says gold and silver are his. God has spoken. His word will not come back void. So here's the thing. It doesn't matter what the globalists are doing, Andrew, what they're trying to do, as we're watching silver, just continue to sit. It goes up $2 or $2. They bring it down $1. And it's very range bound right now. They're controlling everything. And what have we said probably since February? They're never going to let silver go back up above 3 digits again for years and years to come. Why, Andrew? Because the only game in town for the globalists, for Babylon, for the globalists to run the world is a Federal Reserve System. Okay, that's for them the only game in town, because that game allows them to control everything, manipulate everything, control people, because Babylon is a system of control. Okay, so those who have listened to us, listen to the prophetic, what's happening is God's about to shift and move. When he moves, forget about it, okay? This is where you want to be positioned and you want to wait for God to move, because when he moves, we're going to see air gaps in silver that are going to be like 10. We joked about this before years ago, that we're going to see silver go $8-10 a day. And lo and behold, we saw that in January of this year. Okay. We're going to see air gaps in silver of $10-20, and it's just going to be exploding. And that's what's coming. Why? Because God said he's going to take silver back up, and it's going to explode through $121. Now, why I say 121 is because that was the actual top in January, okay? So it doesn't matter what you might feel inside that, or what some of the analysts are saying, or silver, you don't need any silver, just keep your money in the stock market, keep buying bonds, keep your money in everything but God's money. So everything out there is buy everything but God's money, gold and silver. Whereas when you do a faith-based trade, it's everything that your mind is opposite. So your mind's saying, listen to the analysts, but God says, no, listen to me. So a faith-based trade is specifically just putting your money on God and waiting for his prophecies that he's spoken to be fulfilled. And that's why, again, I don't care about the price, Andrew. What I care about is where it's going, okay? And where it's going is up. And Andrew, you even pulled, some analysts even have referenced a possibility of $300 silver, right? So talk about what you're seeing in the natural, what some of the analysts are saying, but most importantly, what you feel in your heart is coming.
Yeah, it's so for me, I've had so many clients reach out to me and they just say like, hey, what's going on with gold and silver? We've seen the prices, the spot prices drop, and I need a pep talk. They tell me like, give me some reassurance so that I don't have this idea that I want to sell. And the first question I ask, do you have a financial need in your life right now where if you did sell that you could use that money for something good? And they go, no, I have everything I need. Well, then that's the first sign that you don't need to sell it. The rest of it is that if you look at the industrial uses of silver, specifically AI, so AI is really in the very beginning. It's in the infancy stage of what it's eventually going to be. 20 years from now, it's going to be night and day difference to what it is now. Well, even 5 or 10 years from now, it will be. So for AI, these supercomputers that make up the data centers require so much electricity for them to be able to operate that they're battery powered, and those batteries use a whole lot of silver, even some gold. So it's mostly silver, and that silver is being consumed in these data centers because the silver is not being recycled in these batteries. So if you believe that AI is going to be something that's very, very big, much bigger than what it already is, then it doesn't matter what the price of silver is doing today or this week, or how much it's come down since the end of January this year, because we know where it's headed. I think that was a key thing you said, Bo. We invest in gold and silver based on where we think it's headed. So the industrial uses of silver are not pulling back at all. They're going the other direction. So that for me is the biggest sign to just stay the course. And if you if you trade based on emotion, if you're starting to get scared and you're just selling based on emotion, that's not a good thing to do either. There have been so many times when I've sold a stock or when I've sold a crypto because I felt like it was going down too much. And right after I sell it, like it just skyrockets after that. It's like you give up before the miracle happens. So I urge people to just hold on. And if anything, double down on your initial investment. You can do some dollar cost averaging and get it at a bargain because it's down over 50% this year alone.
That's exactly a great point. When you look at gold right now relative to silver, and also you're talking about use, let's first touch on that, okay? So in addition to AI, understand that just like everybody's got a cell phone, okay, there's silver in every single cell phone. There is silver in every single military component, high-tech components. So silver is highly industrial based. And furthermore, okay, so let's tie this in with prophecy. Kim Clement spoke above, I stand in the year 2027 beyond the veil of limitations. What that really means is things are going to be exposed in year 2027 onwards that are just going to be like, what? Are you kidding me? Like there's anti-gravity. Like there's going to be things that are going to be exposed to us because we've been hidden. There's so much technology that's been hidden. And like Andrew said, right, when you use silver for technology, it's used up, okay? So it's not available anymore. So in addition to the technology that's coming, there's a price explosion that's coming. So everything that I look at, that I'm personally looking at, from prophecy to what's been said, chart analysis, everything is pointing to silver heading upwards. And then when you tie God into the equation, then you start looking at price explosions. And when you talk about that, these are biblical moves, okay? So there are going to be things that are going to be things we've never seen before in terms of price moves, massive, massive price moves to the upside. And again, I just want to emphasize, this is what we've been talking about. What have we said? Silver is the money that's going to go up from $20. We were saying that, when were we saying that? 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. It went up to $121, okay? It topped out. That means nothing more than it topped out. And so some people might have even bought up at 3 digits, okay? Understand that when the price comes down, right now we want to compare, and then Andrew, talk about the comparison when we look at silver relative to gold and why silver is actually an advantageous position right now. So we talked about silver from the $20 range. It shot up on this chart. You look on the top left side, it went up to $121 at the end of January, okay? As of today, when we speak, today is the 15th of July. Silver is down, let this sink in, 52%. So it's down just more than halfway from the top. That's where it's down. Very important to consider this when you compare that to gold. Gold's from the top, what it made is it 5,000? I think it was just under 5,600, just under that. It's down 27%. Okay. So Andrew, if you can talk about the differences about how silver moves. Okay. So in a bull market, what does silver do? And in a bear market, what does silver do? And why, the third piece of the equation is why it's advantageous right now if you have some gold to be looking at silver. So talk about how silver accelerates relative to gold, and then how gold holds its value more. So talk about what I just said with regards to 52% down on silver right now relative to gold's 27%, and then the ratios. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. So
go ahead, Andrew.
So silver is like, to steal your line, is always the last one out of the gate. So at the end of last year and at the beginning of this year, silver made it out the gate. They did, and it did. And silver went as high as, I saw it there on the chart, $121.64 for 1 ounce. And as you said, now it's down 52%. It works the same way in a bear market. We're in a bear market. And when people are holding a lump of gold and a lump of silver and they have a need, or if they're scared, the silver is always the one that they sell first. And that's the reason. So people wake up in the morning, they see that silver's down and they go, okay, today I'm going to sell my silver. They don't even know why everybody's selling the silver on some of the days. They're all selling on the same day. But what I like most about what you just pointed out with silver being down 52% this year, if people were to invest in silver right now, okay, and if silver were to make a full recovery, they don't make 52%. It's over 100% gain. So that's the power of taking advantage of a market that's been hit as hard as silver. So just to repeat, if you were to get in at silver at the current level, like right now it's sitting at roughly $58 an ounce, around there, maybe the high $57 range. If it went to $121 an ounce, that's got to be about 110% gain. And we're not talking about silver getting to something that it's never done before. Like Bank of America at the beginning of this year, they said that silver could go anywhere from $135 an ounce to $309 an ounce. So I'm not saying it's going to $309. I'm saying that if silver were to return to where it already was just a little over 6 months ago, that it would be about 110% gain. And if you're
Andrew,
if you ever,
and now just tie that in with prophecy, okay? Forget about our opinions. The prophecy is very clear. Silver is going to go back up into $121, but this time it won't stop there. It's going to explode through it. So talk about buying silver, getting silver right now at 57 and tying that in with prophecy, Andrew. Go ahead.
Oh, so when prophecy hits, which we've talked about, I think you started off the interview here by talking that it would take an act of God to allow silver to not be suppressed by the big banks out there that have been playing games with the spot price of silver for decades. When it happened at the end of last year, it's going to happen again. When that happens, and when silver breaks through that $121 an ounce, what could happen there? None of us know. I mean, you've laid out the chart forward of how silver can get to $600 an ounce. But you've been saying that since silver was at $20 an ounce. So next thing you know, we're like a fifth of the way to $600 an ounce at the end of January.
Think about this right now. How many people listening bought silver because they didn't listen to us? So they were buying silver at 90, 100, 110 because they didn't want to miss out on what was coming for silver. And today they hold silver at $110, but it's 57 right now, right? Point we're trying to make here is don't chase it. Position yourself and wait. Expand upon that concept because if you believe it's going to go through $121, why do you want to wait until it gets to 80 or 90 or I'm going to wait till it gets to 100 and then I'm going to buy? Are you kidding me? If you wait to 100, you could have bought twice as much silver today, right, Andrew? You just do the math on it. It's just math.
Yeah, and people do tend to do that. So when silver was over $100 an ounce, I had like every client that ever bought from me, I feel like was calling and wondering why they couldn't get the same one-on-one attention with me that they did when they first bought 5-10 years ago. And it's not that I didn't want to do it. It's that everybody was reaching out at the exact same time. Everyone always is afraid to miss out on something that's hot. We saw it happen with Bitcoin when it was over $100,000 per Bitcoin. We've seen it happen here with gold and silver, and we even talked about years back. We said when the herd comes, you're going to be throwing money at silver no matter what price it is, and you're going to be waiting to get it. And that's exactly what happened. Well, right now it's available, and it's a heck of a bargain, and people should reach out to us. One thing we've helped a lot of people do is you mentioned earlier that gold is only down 27% this year from its high, and silver's down 52%. So your gold has stabilized and held the bulk of its value. This would be a good opportunity to reach out to us and schedule a consultation and let us examine whether or not it might make sense for you to use some of your gold to swap it for silver. You're not coming out of pocket anything. You're just exchanging some of your gold for silver and taking advantage of the great opportunity that all of us have to be able to get silver at a 52% discount from where it was at the end of January. I mean, really, it makes a whole lot of sense. And then just to add on to that, Bo, we can help people even if you didn't set up your precious metals IRA with Beverly Hills Precious Metals. There's a big company out there that went out of business last month very quietly, and I found out about the bankruptcy just last week. Don't want to say their name, don't want to get in any trouble, but I can say that they're the ones that you might have seen on Fox News with William Devane pushing gold and silver through that company. That company, they were brokers. So if you send them $100,000, they go out and take your 100,000 and they buy $100,000 worth of gold and silver somewhere else, and they keep a little profit for themselves. For Beverly Hills Precious Metals doesn't operate that way. We actually keep an inventory. There are coins that we make, like the General Flynn 2-ounce silver coin. There's a Reawaken America gold coin. We own these coins. We have them physically in an inventory. The product that we sell is product that we have in our inventory or that we've bought and paid for, and it's inbound. It's not here yet, but we've paid for it and it's coming. And there are times when someone will ask for something that we don't have, and I'll just say, look, this is something that we don't have right now, but I'll go ahead and I'll give you a quote. If you want to buy it, it's going to take me about 10 days before I can ship it to you. We're very upfront about that. So last year, when you wake up every morning at the end of the year and you see that gold and silver are higher, like silver was up like $1, $2, $3, like almost every day for a while there, especially in December. Well, if a company operates as a broker and it takes you 5 or 6 days before you start to fulfill orders that you did last week, then you're actually buying the product to fulfill those orders at more than what you actually sold them for. And that's the trouble that gold companies that operate as a broker can get into. So I apologize for the long story, but one thing, we've helped a lot of people. People are filling out the online form saying, hey, I'm a client of this company. I want first to find out, is my gold and silver there? Can you take a look and just confirm that it's even there? And we'll check for you. And then we'll also examine what's in there and see if any changes need to be made. We can take over as the broker of record if you'd prefer. So it's like the person of interest on your account, but it's we've helped a lot of people that way, and I hope people do keep reaching out. But I did want to let people know that we do offer that service. You should do a portfolio review. It's halfway through 2026. It's a good time to take a look at things because the market's changed from where it was in January.
Touch base upon 401ks and IRAs. Again, I always want to address this issue when we do a podcast together because so many people, they're invested, they've had jobs, they've invested financially in their jobs throughout the years, and they are fully invested in paper securities. When I mean paper, I literally mean paper digit securities. And none of these 401ks or IRAs that people hold are backed by hard assets, gold and silver, okay? And why I call them hard assets, because when you pick up a piece of gold or silver, it's hard, okay? When you get a piece of paper in the mail with your portfolio, it's a piece of paper and it has digits on it of what it's worth, okay? But none of them are related or attached to gold and silver if you have never converted your 401k or your IRA into a hard metals asset. And the reason Andrew was saying that, last year, December and January, he couldn't offer, it was difficult, even with all of his staff, to give the hand holding, the one-on-one attention that he would give other people during the small, when markets weren't so volatile. The reason is because silver and gold are called precious metals. The reason they're precious is because it takes time to dig them out of the ground. It takes time to manufacture them. It takes time to make them shiny. It takes time to ship them. And if one person shows up, makes a big order, next thing you know, they're all gone. And so they're limited in supply, whether it's gold and silver. And so it's always been a challenge to produce these things and then deliver them. So when it's a time like right now where it's called like a little lull, and summertime typically is the lull season, where it's like the low season, where it's just the most people, traders, are not at their desks or on vacation with family. So this is the time where silver typically and gold are more manipulated and held down more, okay? And shortly, and I mean shortly, probably by the end of this month, I'm telling you, by the end of this month, August, it's about to begin, and maybe even sooner. So we've said there's a very small window of time left where things are about to begin to accelerate and then explode. This is how it's going to go. It's going to go slightly up, 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 and then explode. And the explosion is going to be that biblical thing that we are waiting for. Again, this is faith-based. God said. Now, you can believe that God didn't say and not do anything. This is where it all comes down to, when Joshua said, choose this day. Do you choose to have all of your finances sitting in paper and digits, or are you what's a wise steward? What's someone who has wisdom? What's wisdom? It's not smarts. Wisdom, it's inside of you. You just know deep down something's wrong with the system. Something just deeply is wrong. And if you truly believe that something deeply is wrong with the financial system, that they can just literally create money out of thin air forever, like that's what they've been doing. So deep down inside of you, you feel like, something's really wrong. Then what's silver and gold, in addition to being precious, they're an insurance policy. So if you take your 401k, you take your IRA, or you take cash that's in your bank account, and you convert them into a hard asset, like real stuff, like Andrew can ship it to you. It shows up at your doorstep, and it's a solid piece of gold, solid piece of silver, or it shows up at the depository for your 401k and IRA. Now you've attached your financial position to what? You've attached your financial position, whether it's all of it, doesn't have to be even a piece of it, a percentage, small percentage even, but now you're positioned in God's money, silver and gold, in hard assets. So again, we've talked this before. Hit it up again, Andrew. Just emphasize the difference of a 401k, an IRA. People have gone for years. They've worked. They've got great positions in their companies, and these 401ks, IRAs, and they're all paper digits. Explain.
If you're invested in, say, SLV or GLD, those are exchange traded funds.
Well, actually, I'm sorry, literally the stock market. Most brokers won't even put you in SLV or GLD. They're just going to put you in the stock market. That's it. Like most people don't even know about SLV and GLD, but that's in addition to. So I just want to expand on, but when you look at 401ks and IRAs, it's a conglomerate of everything, but it's all paper.
Yeah, like recently I was on a long flight, flying back from Europe and coming back to California. And I thought about a guy that used to work for me. He had a license plate that said, he had a personalized license plate, and it said, "Own Gold." And I started thinking about him and thinking about that license plate and thinking about the wad of cash, dollars and euros that I had in my pocket. I don't own those dollars and those euros. Those belong to the respective governments. Like you can't, we don't own our dollars. Like the government lets us use that to transact. You might have a lot of dollars in the bank, but it's property of the government. When you buy gold or silver, you own that. Like I can do whatever I want with it. I could chop it into pieces with an axe. I can give it to a neighbor. I can fly to another part of the world and use it as a currency. But I own that. I can do whatever I want with it. And same with my house. I mean, it's like probably can't burn it down. I'd get in trouble. But it's my house. Like I own it. And there's not many things in the world that we do own. When it's the stocks, I mean, the stock market's completely manipulated. You look at SpaceX, which recently just had an IPO. I mean, the stock initially went up quite a bit, but SpaceX is yet to make a dollar. They're a company that's losing. Tesla lost money for like the first 20 years in business before they turned a profit. So just because you have something on the financial markets like a stock, it doesn't really mean that it's worth the value that it might be trading at. With gold and silver, they're worth the value of what it's currently trading at. And really, the world is starting to wake up and starting to understand that gold and silver is where you need to be. The world banks out there that might have excess cash, they've always put that money into treasury bonds because the dollar year after year is a winning bet for someone that's sitting on a large amount of cash. But now those have fallen out of favor for the first time in decades, where the central banks now prefer owning gold and silver over investing in treasury bonds. So this is not a new idea. This is something that for decades here, even here in the United States, going back to the Great Depression, after all the banks failed after the crash in 1929, many of the banks failed, not all of them, but it was so bad that people during the Great Depression, they if you could, they had gold and silver. And we're currently in the first generation since then that actually understands the value of gold and silver. People are starting to wake up. So if you're watching this podcast and you're interested, it's you're ahead of the curve, but people are starting to catch on. I do believe gold and silver are going to go much higher.
And with that said, Andrew, just kind of wrap things up. I had this up earlier, but again, just how can people find you, reach out to you? And if they're, they want to take some of their 401k, some of their IRAs, or any financial positions that they've got, and let's say they have zero exposure to silver and gold, hard assets. They've got, they're positioned financially, but they have zero exposure to hard assets. How could they get involved? What's the first steps steps, and is it complicated or not? So just give them a little walkthrough and how to reach you, and then the steps.
Yeah. So typically people will scan the QR code like the one you see on the screen. Our website will come up and you'll be able to schedule a consultation. And right now, for when people fill out the online form, oftentimes we get with you that same day. So if we try that same day, we'll try again the next day. So we'll call you and we'll just have a conversation with you about your experience with gold or silver or both. And if you've never done it before, if you've never invested in precious metals, then we'll start from the beginning. We'll explain to you how it works, what the process is for investing in it. We'll talk to you about some of the items that are most popular. If you decide you wanted to invest whatever dollar amount you're comfortable with, we'll make a recommendation. Once you agree, we'll email you an invoice. Once you receive that invoice, it has bank wire information on there or an address that you can send a check to. And once we receive payment, then we start on the fulfillment. If it's a wire transfer, we usually start fulfillment the next day. If it's a check, we wait like 5 to 7 business days for it to clear, and then we'll start fulfillment then. Once we ship the actual order, we'll email you and you'll have the tracking information. You'll know precisely when it's going to arrive, and it's insured from our door to your door. It's insured, and it really is a great service. It's something that most people don't even realize it's even possible to buy gold and silver this way. It's completely discreet. We're not reporting anything to the government about what you're buying. We're not required to, and we'll buy back. We'll buy back any gold or silver that you've purchased from us or any other company out there. So it's a two-way market. And when we buy back, we don't charge you any type of commission or anything for doing so. So I think it's a good opportunity for people to jump in. We've seen last year and the beginning of this year what's possible for gold and silver, and we're going to see it a lot more times here in the near future. So it's a good time to get back in.
With that said, what I'll say is the prophecy is this: silver and gold are going to explode. We are going to see this. Whether you are positioned in gold or not, honestly, I personally, for myself and my family, I hold silver and a little bit of gold. And I've been accumulating for many years. I have the greatest insurance policy, financial insurance policy out there, because I know what's coming. Okay. Whether you want to buy silver or gold, everything's a personal choice in life, right? Choose this day, right? It's like whether you want to do it or not, we're not telling you to do anything. But I know what the prophets have spoken. I know what Lord has showed me that's coming. I know what's about to happen. And I personally have positioned myself and my family for what's about to happen. Okay. So it's coming. It's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going to happen. Whether it's tomorrow, whether it's in a year from now, I don't care. But it's going to be soon. Let's just say it's going to be soon, and it's coming. And I'm positioned. I know Andrew is positioned for it. Personally, I know Andrew is positioned for what's coming. And I know when I go to events with many people at the event, So many people have walked up to myself and Andrew and said, thank you for educating us about what real money is, silver and gold. And everywhere we go, all we get is thank you, and thank yous. We had the same thing happen just at the conference we were at, with Clay Clark and General Flynn again. So everywhere we go, my mission has been to educate people about finance and what gold is and what silver is, and that it's written in scriptures and it's God's money, okay? The financial system that we use today is not God's money, and it's become very corrupt. In your heart, you really feel that something's wrong. I really hope you guys have listened to us and you have, some silver or some gold, but I know many people have, considering the amount of thank yous that Andrew and I constantly get. So with all of that said, prophecy is about to be fulfilled. We're about to see a massive, massive historic price explosion. I believe it comes soon. Let's leave it at that. And Andrew, take us out.
Like I said earlier, we are available right now. I can give you the one-on-one time that you need. Reach out to us. I've got a whole team of people that can really help you with the entire transaction or the understanding of how gold and silver work from start to finish. Come in ahead of the herd, because the herd will be coming again. They'll be coming again soon. This is a good time to take advantage of the opportunity that's been presented to you. And it doesn't cost you anything to reach out to us. So I hope to hear from many as soon as possible.
Everybody, thank you again for listening in to us. Andrew, thank you for being here. Amen, and God bless everybody.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.